Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniela Silva. We will begin the presentation for the Bayview Drive Mobility Improvements Project in approximately 2 more minutes to allow enough time for additional attendees to join us. Good evening, everyone. For those of you who have just joined us, this is the Bayview Drive Mobility Improvements virtual public meeting. Today is Monday, April 25th. This is slide number 1. Slide 2, virtual public meeting orientation. My name is Daniela Silva. I will be your moderator and presenter for this evening. I am the Broward Operations in-house interstate community outreach specialist. I am actually covering for Rebecca Guerrero, who is out of the office currently. Tonight's virtual public meeting will consist of a presentation and question and answer session from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. and the second session will follow from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. If at any point time allows, an unguided PowerPoint slideshow will be played. Slide 3, Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting either District 4 Title VI Coordinator Sharon Singh-Hagyan or District 6 Coordinator Jacqueline Paramore. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge any elected official currently on the line. If you would like to speak, please raise your hand and we will go ahead and unmute you. Okay, I don't see any elected official on the line currently. We will keep a lookout just in case. Moving on to slide 4, tonight's virtual public meeting. All attendees will remain muted throughout the meeting. Attendees are welcome at any point to submit any questions or comments using the control panel located to the right of the screen. A member of the team will respond to the question or comment during the question and answer session. This meeting is being recorded and will be available after on the project website or to anyone registered on this meeting. Slide number 5. As mentioned, the virtual public meeting format will consist of a question and answer session after the presentation. The blue arrow indicates if you would like to speak. You can go ahead and raise your hand, and a team member will go ahead and unmute you. Any questions can be entered where the red arrow is pointing at. Please type your question or comment in and then hit send for the team to review and answer. Slide 6. Any person who chose to dial in are in listen-only mode and will not be able to speak. If at any point anyone does experience technical difficulties, please contact the GoToWebinar support at 833-851-8340. Slide 7. At this time, I'd like to introduce the team. So any member that does not have their camera on, if you can go ahead and turn it on. We'll begin with the Florida Department of Transportation Construction Project team. I'd like to introduce the Construction Project Manager, Yasser Santos. He will also be going over some slides with you all tonight, and the Project Administrator, Tapesh Sukra. The Community Outreach Specialist for the project will be Rebecca Guerrero, and her information will be provided at the end of the presentation. On behalf of the Florida Department of Transportation Design Team, we have Helen James. She's the FDOT Design Project Manager. Janelia Liu, she's the Engineer of Record, a consulting firm with Caltran Engineering Group Incorporated. And Mark Sizzle, also with Caltran Engineering Group. The construction contractor is Thomas Weeks, Project Manager with Roadway Construction LLC. In partnership with the City of Fort Lauderdale, we do have on the line Karen Warfel. She is the Transportation Planning Program Manager. Lastly, in partnership with the Broward Metropolitan Planning Organization, the Broward MPO, we have Ben Restrepo, which is the Transportation Engineer Project Manager. Slide 8. Project presentation. We will go ahead and begin with the slides. A brief overview of the project, and then we will go ahead and begin the question and answer portion. Slide 9, project overview. The purpose of this project is to create enhanced bicycle and pedestrian access. The length is 3.7 miles. The contract was awarded to Roadway Construction LLC. Construction is anticipated to begin on April 27, 2022. The estimated construction cost is $2,543,608. Total contract time is 269 calendar days. This does not include weather or holidays. Whoops, we had a little technical. I do apologize for that. As mentioned, the calendar days do not include weather or holidays. The estimated completion for the project is in early 2023. Slide 10, Broward MPO. The Broward MPO is a federally chartered entity responsible for transportation decision-making in the Broward region. Influence and expenditure of federal and state transportation funds at the regional level. The Broward MPO consists of 31 municipalities, including Broward County School Board, the South Florida Regional Transportation Authority, which also develop plans, conduct studies, establish initiatives, and programs. Their mission is to collaboratively plan, prioritize, and fund the delivery and diverse transportation options. Slide 11. The Broward MPO Competitive Grant Program provides funding opportunities for small local transportation projects which improve safety and mobility for all transportation users in Broward County. The program also funds projects such as complete streets projects, traffic calming and intersection projects, ADA upgrades, mobility hubs, bus shelters, bike racks, and technology advancements such as transit, signal priority, and traffic control devices. Applicants are required to submit program-ready projects with proof of roadway ownership, well-defined scope of work, partner collaboration, cost estimate, documentation of public outreach, and resolution support. This project was submitted to the City of Fort Lauderdale and was awarded funding in 2016. The project VIN is 438118-1. As part of this project, improvements along Bayview Drive include providing continuous sidewalks on both sides of the road, adding bicycle lanes from Northeast 26th Street to Northeast 25th Place, installing mid-block crossings between Northeast 11th Street and Northeast 45th Street, raising the intersections at Northeast 14th Street, Northeast 18th Street, Northeast 27th Street, and Northeast 40th Street, constructing roundabouts at Northeast 37th Drive and Northeast 47th Street. This project will also include widening the roadway from Northeast 23rd Street to east of Northeast 24th Court. At this time, I'd like to introduce Yasser Santos, who will take over the next few slides.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for your interest in the Bayview Drive Mobility Improvement Project. Thank you, Daniela. So we are currently on slide 13, when we are showing the existing roadway configuration of the typical section, where we have 10-foot travel lanes on eastbound, northbound, and southbound, alongside with 5 to 7-foot bike lanes. Then we have swell areas with sod that varies from 0 to 15 foot. And then we have 5-foot sidewalks on each direction, northbound and southbound. Next slide, please. So we are currently on slide 14, where we are showing the typical section for Bayview Drive and Northeast 13th Street, when we are showing travel lanes, 10-foot travel lanes, eastbound, northbound, and southbound, 5 to 7-foot bike lanes, the swell areas with sod that varies from 0 to 12 on the southbound area, and from 5 to 7 on the northbound area. The bike lanes with from 5 to 7, and then the sod or swell areas 5 to 6 on the northbound, and 0 to 12 on the southbound, including also the sidewalk, 5-foot sidewalk on each direction. Next slide, please. This is a closer look to the area of Northeast 13th Court and Bayview Drive. So we are looking at, we're currently on slide 15. We're showing the intersection of Bayview Drive and Northeast 13, as I mentioned. And right there, we are highlighting in blue the milling and resurfacing and overbuild location. We are showing with yellow lines the raised curb and area with sod in the center. Being highlighted in gray, we show new sidewalk connecting the northwest and southwest corners. Daniela, please go back to the previous one. Thank you. Sorry, bear with us for a second. All right. So that will be slide 15. I think it's the previous one. There you go. Thank you, Daniela. All right, so in the area, as I mentioned, we are using the yellow lines to denote raised curb area with sod in the center. Gray highlighted portion is shows the sidewalk connection in the middle of the island, and then white lines are showing white striping. Next slide, please. Right, so we are currently on slide 16, where we're showing the typical section for Northeast 14th Street to Northeast 15th Street, where we are repaving the corridor, and we are keeping 10-foot travel lanes in each direction, northbound and southbound. Then we are keeping the 5 to 7 bike lanes, and also we are providing concrete or keeping concrete sidewalk in both directions, 5-foot concrete sidewalk. Next slide, please. This slide shows the area where we are working on the intersection. This is the race intersection improvements. So they're happening at the intersection of Bayview Drive and Northeast 14th Street, Northeast 18th Street, Northeast 27th Street, and Northeast 4th Street. So right here, we are gonna be milling, resurfacing, or repaving. And we are gonna keep 10-foot travel lanes in each direction, 5 to 7-foot bike lanes. And we're going to match the side streets. I'm sorry about that. We're gonna get back to the presentation. Thank you. All right, next slide, Daniela. I wanted to show a closer look to the area, the intersection of Northeast 14th Street and Bayview Drive, where we are highlighting in blue the area where we're gonna be repaving. The white lines are showing striping, and also wanted to mention or highlight a mid-block crossing that we're gonna be providing just north of Northeast 14th Street. That's pretty much about this area. Next slide, Daniela. The other intersection where we're going to be raising the pavement is this location, Northeast 18th Street and Bayview Drive, where we are highlighting in blue the area to be repaved. Again, white lines are showing striping and mid-block crossing just north of Northeast 18th Street, and also yellow shows pavement markings as well. Next slide, Daniel. This is the area of Northeast 27th Street and Bayview Drive, where we are repaving the blue highlighted location. And then we are using white lines to show striping as well, and then yellow to show striping pavement markings. Next slide, please. And this is the other intersection where we are raising the pavement, which is Northeast 40th Street and Bayview Drive. Again, blue is denoting the milling and resurfacing area, or repaving the area. And white lines are showing pavement markings, and yellow same pavement markings as well. Next slide, please. All right, this is the existing roadway condition from Northeast 23rd Street to Northeast, bear with me for 1 second, 25th Street. And then we are keeping the travel lanes width of 10 foot in each direction, northbound and southbound, the 5 to 7 foot bike lanes, the swells with sod that varies from 0 to 15 on the northbound direction on the east side. And then we have the 5-foot sidewalk on each direction. All right, thank you. Next slide, please. All right, so next slide. Thank you. So in this area, we are showing the location from Northeast 23rd Street to Northeast 25th Street, but we are emphasizing on the location where we are going to be widening and showing and taking care of 2 race intersections. We are going to be providing 10-foot bike lanes on each, travel lanes on each direction, and 5-foot bike lanes. And we're matching existing grade. Also, a median that varies from 0 to 9 foot is going to be implemented. Next slide, please. This is an aerial view of the same the typical section that I just mentioned on the previous slide, where we are highlighting in blue the area that is to be milled and repaved in between Bayview Drive from Northeast 24th Street to Northeast 25th Street. And right there, we show in yellow as well the striping, the pavement markings, and also in white lines, we also show pavement markings. All right. So at this point, I'm gonna pass it over to Mr. Tapesh Subram. He is the project administrator, and he will be taking the lead on this project, and I'm gonna be highly involved with him to achieve a successful project. So thank you for your attention. Tapesh, you can take over at this point.
Thank you, Yasser. As Yasser mentioned, my name is Tapesh Subram. I'll be the project administrator for this project, and I'll be providing narrative for slides 25 to 33. Slide 25 shows the milling limits along Bayview Drive southbound beyond 26th Street. This area will be widened, milled, and then repaved. Next slide, Danielle. So slide 26 shows the proposed improvements at the intersection of Bayview Drive and Northeast 26th Street. The intersection will be widened, milled, and repaved. No changes will be made to the existing lane widths. Next slide, Daniela. Okay, so slide 27 shows the limits of the proposed improvements between Northeast 25th Place and Northeast 26th Street. The image on screen shows the final configuration of the limits at this location. Next slide, Daniela. Slide 28 shows the cross-section of the proposed roundabout at Northeast 37th Place / Northeast 36th Street. The improvements at the intersection include 8-foot sidewalks, new curb and gutter, and a 14-foot circular roadway. Next slide, Daniela. Slide 29 shows the final configuration of Northeast 37th Drive / Northeast 37th Street. The area shown in the blue shows the milling and repaving areas. The areas in the yellow marking show the raised curbs in the center of the roundabout and also the new traffic striping. The areas in the green show the proposed new sidewalk along Bayview and how it connects to the existing sidewalk with the new improved upgrades. Next slide, Daniela. Slide number 30 shows the milling and repaving improvements proposed between Northeast 44th Street and Northeast 45th Street. This is one of the intersections that will be getting the raised intersection, and there will be no changes to the widths of the existing roadway. Next slide. Next slide, please. There you go. Yeah, slide 31 shows the final configuration of the improvements between Northeast 44th Street and Northeast 45th Street. This is one of the two new signalized mid-block mid-block crossings in this project. The other one was aforementioned by Yasser, was at Northeast 14th Avenue. Next slide, Daniela. Okay, so this is the second roundabout that's proposed for this project. Slide number 33 shows the cross sections of the proposed roundabout at Northeast 47th Street and Bayview Drive. At this roundabout also, the improvements include 8-foot sidewalks, new curb and gutter, and also a 14-foot circular roadway. Next sheet. Next slide. All right. Slide 33 shows the final configuration of Northeast 47th Street and Bayview Drive. The area shown in the blue shows the areas that are to be milled and resurfaced. The areas shown in the yellow are the raised curbs and the new traffic striping, and the areas in the green show the new proposed sidewalk along Bayview and how it connects to the existing sidewalk. Next slide.
Thank you to Pesh and Yasser. We're currently on slide 34, maintenance of traffic. Public safety is FDOT's top priority, so work zone signage will be placed along the corridor. This will consist of advanced warning and project signage and lighted messaging boards. Ongoing coordination with local agencies and businesses will be conducted to ensure bus route accessibility and access at all times. Currently, the team is coordinating with Broward County Traffic Engineering Division, Broward County Transit, City of Fort Lauderdale, local first responders, and Broward County Schools. Slide 35, maintenance of traffic. Lane closure details will consist of single lane closures, which are permitted as part of this contract, Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. Additional information pertaining to lane closures and detours will be distributed through the weekly traffic report distributed by FDOT. Slide 36, community outreach. For more information about this project, anyone is welcome and encouraged to visit the website at www.d4fdot.com. The URL displayed on the screen will direct anyone to the specific project webpage. Weekly lane closures will be disseminated via the press release, and you are also welcome to contact the community outreach specialist, Rebecca Guerrero. She will also distribute a project-specific list, and if you would like to be added to that, please email her at rguerrero@corradino.com. You can also contact her cell phone, 954-940-7605, to be added to the list. Slide 37, we will now go ahead and open up the floor to any questions or comments. We do have some comments already in the queue, so I will go ahead and begin reading them out for the team to address. The first question that we do have from Catherine Taylor, will be sending the PowerPoint presentation out. So this presentation will actually be placed directly onto the project webpage. The next question that we do have, how do we get an additional raised intersection at 25th Street and Bayview? Maybe some kind of speed bump is necessary between 26th Street and 24th Court. It is currently a racetrack every single day. Any member of the team? Can someone from the team address this?
Sure. And Daniela, at this point, I would like for the designing team to turn on their cameras, perhaps as well.
Yes.
Going back to and thank you for your question. While responding to that, this project was part of a study. It was performed by FDOT on behalf of City of Fort Lauderdale. The scope of work determined that those intersections were the main ones, but I would like to pass it over to the designing team. In this case, we have Janelia, and we have Mark. We also have Helen. Perhaps they would like to expand on that. Thank you. So Danielle, I'm not sure, perhaps we should repeat the question.
Yeah, so the question was, how do we get an additional raised intersection at 25th Street and Bayview? Perhaps some kind of speed bump is necessary between 26th Street and 24th Court.
Thanks, Daniela. I'll recommend they reach out to the city because the city prepared the intersections that were scoped for the project to be raised. They did explore the putting speed bumps along the corridor. However, the speed bumps do hinder the emergency vehicles. So that's something I don't think they'll like to install in, in this location. But for another raised intersection, yes, please, we can bring that up to the city.
Thank you. The next question that we do have, how high will you be raising the intersection at 40th Street?
I can answer that question, and then perhaps Janelia wants to jump in. But the maximum overbuild that we're implementing in the area is going to be 3 inches. Janelia, would you like to expand on that, or Mark?
Yeah, that's correct. The speed humps are going up 3 inches at all locations.
Oh. 3 inches?
That is correct.
The maximum, yes.
Okay.
It's the maximum.
But we gradually go up to 3 inches and then descending back.
Okay. The next question that we have from Randall Vitale, will there be a new painted crosswalk at 12th Street in Bayview? Yasser, would you like to handle this?
Yes, there would be one, yes.
Yes, there will be a new painted crosswalk.
Yeah, there's going to be 3 painted crosswalks that are going to be new along the corridor, and one is on 12th, another one on 15th, and the other one on 27th.
Thank you. Moving on, we have what efforts will be made to stop cut-through traffic on Northeast 26th Terrace and Northeast 27th Avenue between 26th Street and 24th Street. Cars currently zoom down those streets already. We have no sidewalks, and cut-through will get worse with calming measures on Bayview.
Danielle, I'll take that one. As far as cut-through measures, that is something I think that we'll have to consider for future projects. But to go back the question and answer the question before about the raised intersection, there is going to be a raised intersection at 27th Street. Just to clarify that question.
Okay. A follow-up question from Kimberly Ruggiero. We were told a roundabout is being put in at 26th Street in Bayview. Is that being done by the city, or will that be implemented as part of this project?
I can take that question, Daniela. That will not be part of this project. I would defer that to someone from the city to comment about whether it's part of the scope of their projects coming up. It will most likely be considered for a future project.
Okay. We have an additional comment. We were told that this project would not begin until school concluded. However, there is a new sign on Bayview Drive that says construction begins May 7th. Can you please clarify?
Yes, basically, I can take over. Tabesh, so basically the project is on track to start this week, as we are showing in our flyer and communication. However, the area by the school, which is the Roundabout by 47th Street, is limited to happen once school is out during summertime. So that's the only time frame we have to build that. And as soon as we reach to August, when school coming back to school, we need to be out of the area. That's a strict requirement that we have in the plans.
So yeah, sir. Also, let me jump in there as well. So there are two sets of signs that you're going to see along the project. One is for the FDOT for our upcoming project scheduled to start on April 27th, and then you have an additional one from the city of Fort Lauderdale for ongoing repairs to the city's drainage lines. The city of Fort Lauderdale will actually be shutting. The signs indicate that the city will be shutting down the road for a period of, I believe, about 2 weeks, starting May 9th.
Okay. We have a question from James Bradbury. I saw some time before that a roundabout was planned at 26th Street in addition to the two shown here. Any updates on why that was removed or future plans to include it?
I would engage the city and get a response to that question, and we can provide that to the attendee.
Sure. We have an additional question from Ruby Sharov. What is milling?
Yes, and that's a really good question. Thank you for asking that. We are trying to use the term repaving. So milling is like removing the certain layers of asphalt on the road for a certain depth, thickness. And then we come back and then we put the layer back, which is the resurfacing, the term resurfacing, that we are using the term repaving for easy of understanding. But it's technically removing the layer of asphalt and then resurfacing is putting it back. But altogether, it's like the repaving term. And thank you for asking. That was a really good question.
Thank you, Asir. Will this project be extending the speed bumps into the bike lanes like they did north of Commercial Boulevard?
Yeah,
Okay, so go ahead, yes, sir.
No, I just want to defer to design, Helen.
Thank you. I was going to have Mark and Janelle discuss their design here because we had drainage issues to overcome with the raised intersections.
So basically the question was if the raised intersections are going to cover the bicycle lanes as well. Was that the question?
I'm sorry?
Can you repeat the question?
I think the question is proposed improvements into the bike lane.
Yeah, so
where we have the raised intersections, yes, it's going to be, the bike lane is going to be raised as well. But proposed improvements to raise bike lanes in other segments of the corridor, no, that was not proposed for this project.
Daniela, perhaps you want to go back to the question to make sure we are responding accordingly?
Yes, so the question is if we will be extending the speed bumps into the bicycle lanes, just similar to what was done north of Commercial Boulevard.
Okay. Yes, so basically the answer is the speed bumps or the raised intersections are also going to take into account bike lanes. So the bike lanes, the bikes are going to be
raised as well.
Yes, exactly.
Correct.
Thank you for repeating the question.
Sure. At this time, we will go ahead and unmute any attendee with a question with their hand raised. So at this time, I'll call on Erica Franceschi. I do apologize if I mispronounced your name. So you are unmuted. You're welcome to speak at any time.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Thanks so much. I was wondering real quick, can you go back to one of the very beginning slides, the project improvements?
Sure.
Thanks.
Which
It said
Specific intersection?
started with providing continuous sidewalks. It was one of the very first ones. It gave an overview.
I think it's the general slide where we show this.
That one. I think you passed it. It was that one. The one right on top, 12.
Yeah, it should
I
be.
think it's 12.
Yes, it's 12.
Mhm.
Should be 12, Daniela. Perfect.
Yeah. This is slide 12.
I still can't, the slide up right now is still project improvements Northeast 44th Street. The slide I'm looking for, it says project improvements, and it begins with providing continuous sidewalks, and then below that is a bullet that says adding bicycle lanes. Below that is it just goes down the line. It was one of the very first ones that you did.
Slide 12. Slide 12, Danielle.
So slide 12 shows providing continuous sidewalk.
I can't see that on the screen. I can't, it's not.
I'm gonna read it for you. Provide continuous sidewalk on both sides of the road, adding bicycle lanes from Northeast 26th Street to Northeast 25th Place, installing mid-block crossings between Northeast 11th Street and Northeast 45th Street, raising the intersection at Northeast 14th Street. We also have 27th Street, 40th Street, and if I'm not mistaken, it should be 18. Let me see. Perfect.
You guys can't pull that up, or I'm making notes and I wanna, you can't pull that slide up?
She's attempting to pull it up at the moment.
Which slide specifically,
This
Yasser?
is that one. This is that one, slide 12, but by some reason
It's the one
she's
that
not
you're
able
on.
to. Right.
You maybe play the slideshow?
Okay, I see it. All right. No,
Okay.
that's perfect. My question was, and I work for Commissioner Heather Moraitis, the one thing that she was concerned about was irrigation and that being put in the roundabouts. And I don't know, and I just want to confirm, is that going to happen, or we had discussed it before, but.
Yes, and that's a really good question, and I'm sure Yanelia will be providing a better answer than me. But yes, we are providing irrigation, Yanelia. So and also power connection.
You're correct. We're providing both irrigation connections and power connections.
And the
For
roundabouts.
any future plantings or any future lighting that might going to be put in the center of the roundabouts.
Center, got it. Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Okay.
To clarify, the plans will provide irrigation sleeves, not an irrigation system.
Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and call on John McDermott. You're unmuted.
Thank you. I had a question about whether it's possible to put at 26th Street in Bayview, a left turn light for the north and south traffic. Because coming north, if you want to turn left on 26th Street, sometimes you have to wait a few lights to get enough free space to make a left-hand turn. We need a left turn light at 26th and Bayview. Did you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you for your question. Go ahead, Tapesh.
Yeah, so as you, it's not part of the scope of this project, but there is a response that I need to provide to a stakeholder. So there's a conversation that I need to have with the city of Fort Lauderdale, and that will be one of the things I'll be bringing to their attention for them to consider in upcoming projects.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question. Okay. Roya Edwards. You have your hand raised. You're unmuted.
Hi, yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I actually have two questions. First of all, thank you so much for putting this together. It was very informative. My first question is, are there any other intersections along Bayview that you are contemplating installing a roundabout that other than what you discussed today for future improvements? That's my first question. And then my next question is about all of your funding sources. I know this is primarily funded through the state, through FDOT funds, but I was wondering if there are any others sources that are being utilized for these projects.
Yasser Tapesh?
I would defer that to Helen. Helen, can you provide an answer for that one?
Sure. The first question, whether we're considering any additional roundabouts, not within these project limits. We go just from north of Sunrise Boulevard and we end just south of Commercial Boulevard. So within that project limit, we don't have any additional roundabouts. Now for the rest of Bayview Drive, we can reach out to the city and ask them if they have anything else planned along Bayview Drive.
I'll add to that a little bit. As far as funding goes, this project is funded through the Broward MPO with federal dollars. And as some of the questions came up for 26th Street, the city is considering a roundabout at Northeast 26th Street as well. And the city is also applying to the Broward MPO C-SLIP program to potentially fund that project.
Okay, thanks. Just as a follow-up, if there was another location along Bayview that could be considered like a locally preferred alternative, would you take that into consideration to implement into these plans, or maybe for a future plan that we bring forth to you, like in conjunction with the city?
Yes, we're open to that.
Good, Helen.
And we're open to that because this is a city road. They have jurisdiction over this roadway. So the improvements that we have currently is what was scoped for this project. Anything additional, yes, we'll have to, have it vetted to the city and to the MPA. They're providing the funding for it.
Okay, awesome. So if we bring into another location into consideration, there is potential to utilize the MPO funding then, right?
The city would have to apply for the MPO funding.
I see. Okay, awesome. Thanks so much.
And I just wanted to add, part of this project, the funding is also coming from the city. So they will cover a portion of the improvements.
Okay, great. Thanks so much.
Thank you for your question.
Okay, Karen Bolivka, we will go ahead and unmute you.
There you go. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am with the HOA board north of Oakland Park Boulevard. And regarding the roundabout at 37 Drive, as an HOA, we're confused. So are you completely taking over the plants and like what size tree will go in the middle, or will we have a voice on what can be planted on the roundabout?
That is a really good question, and it will be need to be directed to the city, but we are gonna pass that over to them, and we'll circle back to you on that.
Okay. Would we need any money from our HOA for this, or is it completely funded? Like all the plants and everything funded from the city? Do you know?
I cannot tell you at this point, but I will definitely will get back to you on that, and I will get the answer from the city for you.
All right, thank you.
I just wanted to add to that, yes, sir. For this project, we're not proposing any new landscape, and that's trees. We're just putting in sod, so the city can always come back and place whatever landscape they see fit for whatever location they want to put it in.
Okay, but I'm not the city. We're with the HOA. So will we have charge to do that?
Not as part of this project, unfortunately, to put in the trees, if that's the type of landscaping you're talking about, that
Yes.
you can talk to the city and the city can come and place it in for you.
Okay, who's my contact for that? You know?
Yes, Danielle, I think we may go back to the very first project team members. Perhaps we may show Karen. And I think that's something that the HOA members, presidents, and board members have been asking. So
Okay.
we are gonna share with you the information.
I
Okay.
took a picture of it. It doesn't give me any contact info, but let's see, FDOT, construction contract.
We can share that with you.
Ms. Bullis?
Mhm.
We can share that with you. We can share
Okay.
all the pertinent contact information.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
sure.
For further assistance, which you can send your concerns over to myself, the project administrator for the project, and I would forward your concerns over to the relative person in the city to get a response for you on that.
Okay, is that Ben speaking?
No, ma'am,
That's
my name is
project
Tipesh.
administrator.
Okay,
Tipesh.
your name on the computer says Ben Restrepo.
Yeah.
That's
All
a
right.
good.
Sorry about that. There were two Ben Restrepos actually.
Got it.
Okay, so what's your name? I'm sorry.
Tipesh. T as in Tom, A, P as in Paul, ESH.
All right, I see it now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And you can always direct it to any of the team, and so we'll make sure we respond to you. We will work together for this. So, thank you.
Thank you. It's very important to our community, just so you know.
Okay, I do have another question, a hand raised from Linda Carter. We will go ahead and unmute you. If you're self-muted, you can just unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so on the milling, which is what I call re-asphalting the street, will it be a checkerboard effect along Bayview, or does the whole boulevard get a clean surface, or is it a stop, start based upon where you're working?
Yes, this is mostly like the way you're mentioning, like a stop start. I wouldn't mention it like that. It's just like specific locations, such as Northeast 13 Court, the main intersections, Northeast 14, 18, 27, and 40, where we're raising it. There is also a long stretch there from Northeast 23rd to Northeast 25th. Along with the roundabout areas by 36 and 47. But as you mentioned, like you got it really right, it's like isolated areas. We are not doing the entire repaving of the corridor. Perhaps, Janelia, would you like to expand on that? Or Helen?
Oh, yes. So this was repaved a few years ago by the city. So we wouldn't want to spend additional time going back and redoing what the city has already done. We're just putting improvements in certain locations as requested.
As long as it all matches and it's even.
Right.
You also have to consider the weathering effect of the asphalt over time too. Just put the asphalt down, it's going to appear black, but then over time with the bleaching that takes place in the traffic way on the road, the color kind of it matches over time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tapesh. Yes, even though perhaps there might be a slight difference in color, that doesn't mean that there is a change in the asphalt per se or the condition. It's just like the colors by time.
Yeah. Drive along the road when you're done and check it out.
Will do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have time for a couple more questions. We will go ahead and unmute Ruby Sharof.
Yes, you have the question.
You're unmuted if you'd like to unmute yourself at any point.
Yes, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to know about approximately how big is the diameter of the island part of the roundabout? I mean, is it feet? Like how wide is compared to the road is the roundabout portion, the raised part?
It's about 21 feet.
21 feet?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
The two roundabouts have different sizes though.
Oh, the roundabout are different sizes. So the one at 47th Street.
That is a bit bigger.
That's 21 feet. The one at 37th is 8 feet in the center.
Oh, 21 feet in the center. Does it have landscaping in the center or just concrete?
No, it's gonna have sod. So it's gonna be, you're gonna have the apron on the outer edge, and you're gonna have the sod area in the middle. So those numbers that Mark just gave you is the area that's gonna be sodded in the middle.
I see. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your question. Linda Carter, your hand is still raised. Did you have an additional question?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know how to make it.
No, it's okay. Just wanted to make sure.
I got it.
Thank you. I think in the queue, we do have one more question from Catherine Taylor. I am a representative of St. John Baptist Catholic Church who needs to communicate with parishioners who attend daily and weekend masses. How do I find out more information about specific timeframes for lane closures so I can effectively communicate? Rebecca Guerrero, she's actually the community outreach specialist for this project. She will be disseminating lane closures specific to this project every Friday. If you would like to be added to that distribution list, I will go ahead and display her contact information. I recommend emailing her and she will add you to that list. And the team's contact information is actually on here, and you're more than welcome to reach out to them at any point throughout construction. I'm just going to take one more look to see if we have any new questions. Oh, we have two more. Will the yield sign at Middle River and Bayview be turned into a stop sign? Do one of our designers?
Yes, I believe that's a yes, but I'm just double checking the plan real quick. Yes, that's a
Okay.
by the park, I believe. Yes.
Okay. And I do have one question from Eric Lunt from earlier. I do apologize for not seeing this. It does state, from the picture, it looks like most, if not all, of the royal palm trees on both sides of 37th Drive as you enter from Bayview will be impacted. Is that true? And if so, will any effort be made to move/maintain them in ways that they will be preserved rather than simply cut down?
Mark, do you remember that location? 37th Drive?
37th Drive entering from Bayview.
Yes, so some are being impacted and some are to remain. So the ones towards
the ones towards the south are going to be mostly impacted.
Right, the ones that are furthest away from the roundabout, they're going to remain, but as you get closer to them, we're having to do some grading, so they'll be impacted, as well as because of the new sidewalk that's coming in as part of the construction. The ones that are closer to the intersection are basically impacted. And there aren't any plans to replant those at this point.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. this concludes tonight's virtual public meeting. Now, at 6 p.m. right now, we will have the in-person session. If at any point throughout construction you do have questions, please feel free to reach out directly to the team. Again, we thank you for attending, and this concludes tonight's meeting. Thank you, everyone. Have a great night.